Today, Wareham veterans and their families are honored in a special ceremony to commemorate a 100-year anniversary of World War I armistice.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam?
Remembering the day and the hour when firing ceased during one of the most notorious wars in the history of the world.
Fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Today, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month is exactly 100 years after the armistice for World War I, when the guns fell silent in Europe in the most terrible war the world had ever seen came to an end.
The celebration took place at the VFW Hall in Onset. In the center of the ceremony were the men and women who honorably put their lives on the line for the sake of this nation.
This is the Dudley L. Brown VFW Post 2846. This is the home of the PFC Collis James Rose Memorial Brunch, which is held annually during the month of March, and we acknowledge the 4 casualties from Wareham: Richard Arruda, Ronald Bumpus, James Crowley, and Collis Rose.
Pledging allegiance to the white, red, and blue emblem that protects the nation's values and its people.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Veterans Day Proclamation. Whereas the 11th of November 1918 marked the end of the war to end all wars and the cessation of the most destructive, sanguinary, and far-reaching war in human annals, the resumption by the people of the United States of peaceful relations with other nations, which we hope may never happen and be severed. Veterans from Wareham have served our country with distinction, honor, and valor, and whereas it is fitting that the recurring anniversary of this date should be commemorated with thanksgiving and prayer, and exercise designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill.
During the ceremony, local and state officials stressed the importance of honoring the flag and the veterans who served under it. Massachusetts remains a leading state for veterans treatment, and recently the Massachusetts legislature passed a new act that will enhance the treatment of veterans and their families, in addition to expanding opportunities for our veterans.
So just recently, in this past legislative session, the legislature passed the BRAVE Act, which is the most recent, if you will, round of benefits and things that we have determined that our veterans need.
And some of those highlighted clauses under the BRAVE Act includes, but not limited to, honoring Gold Star wives and parents. It also establishes a Massachusetts Warrior and Agriculture program to enhance education, training, productivity, income, and employment.
The BRAVE Act allows parents or surviving guardians of veterans who died in service to the country to receive a real estate credit on property beginning on January 1, 2019. It increases veterans' local property tax work-off program from $1,000 to $1,500. It allows Gold Star license plates to be affixed to commercial vehicles, and it provides time off for Veterans Day and Memorial Day with or without pay at the discretion of their employer. It requires the Department of Veterans Services to maintain and publish a list of law firms and organizations that provide free legal representation to veterans. It establishes a commission to study cost and feasibility of exempting all costs to veterans of attending public higher education in Massachusetts. And it extends the Veterans Bonus Program administered by the Treasurer to allow for the maximum amount of benefits under the program, subject to appropriation, to those veterans who served during Operation Enduring Freedom, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Noble Eagle, Operation Inherent Resolve, and Operation Freedom's Sentinel.
1917, which was World War I, there was a song that was written that drove our troops, it drove us at home, and it followed us all the way into World War II before they came up with songs like Don't Sit Under the Apple Tree with Anyone Else But Me, which really made no sense. But in my era, we were worried about Jody, who was at home. But see, Tootsie remembers. And I'm not going to call Cadence either. But this is one that was called Over There. So I'm going to share part of the chorus of that song and then go on to another song. And what it did was, like Matt said earlier, it put us in the global, as far as our military is concerned. It sent us outside of our own boundaries to serve and to help. So it's called Over There, Over There. Send a word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send a word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.
So I do understand that Massachusetts is a leading state when it comes to the treatment of veterans. We are proud of that. But what about here at home in Wareham?
Well, since we started the Wareham Veterans Council, and our biggest thing so far was the Vietnam moving wall we brought to Wareham across from the Middle Street School at Anderson Field. We also have a rock there now with the template on it saying, "When everybody, that's what happened." I say Wareham now, with the work we're doing, is right up there with anybody else. So I don't know of any other places that have a council like we do.
What have we learned? Today we are celebrating 100 years of ending World War I. What have we learned in these 100 years?
Well, sometimes I think, quite frankly, we forgot a lot of the things that society should have learned in terms of our history, because it seems like very often we repeat some of the mistakes of the past. But over those 100 years, we have seen great progress in the world in terms of economic and industrial development, technological success, but it's not been equally distributed all across the globe.
I heard your remarkable speech earlier today, and you talked about the draft. You were drafted, you had your number. You already received a letter to let you know where you will be for training, where you'll be posted, and then the draft was dissolved.
Yes.
Right?
I wondered to myself whether or not I would have the courage, whether or not I would be able to live up to what my country was asking me to do at that point in time. Because the draft was canceled, I did not have to serve. That was at the end of the Vietnam War. But years later, what I was referencing is years later, I went over to Vietnam as part of a trade mission with former Governor Cellucci. And when I actually visited there and I saw the terrain in which veterans had to serve, it really made me understand the tremendous sacrifice.
This song is offered as a prayer. And I hope you younger people remember this and think of this song, because that's the only thing that's going to make it easier for us. It's called Let There Be
be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
A key message that we can extract from today's commemoration ceremony is that to continue to honor the freedom that we vehemently enjoy and cannot do without. Honoring such freedom means to honor and cherish our veterans. Reporting from VFW in Onset, I am Queen Banda of WCTV.
Let me walk with my brother in perfect harmony.